Military dog kennels. Here are the puppies.
So there is a show.
And we can see the dogs.
Got puppies here? Yeah.
Okay, Annalise, come on. Come on.
Attention folks, the show is about to start in about 5 minutes, so if you want to make your way down to the stands, that would be fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, very cute.
That was the show.
All right, Annalise, if we're going to get the come on.
Charles Sheldon was living the dream. He retired at the age of 35, which is my goal.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Good luck. So he retired at the age of 35, and what he wanted to do with his life, with his retirement, was to go experience the wilderness and study the Dall sheep, the only all-white mountain sheep. Now, to him, the Dall sheep was that symbol of wilderness. So he came up here to Alaska. Now, you guys all know how hard it is to get up here, right? You take boats and trains and planes and buses, all sorts of things, all to get up here. Well, back in the time when there were no trains or planes or buses, it's even more difficult to get up here. And so Charles Sheldon actually had to hire a dog musher to help him get around this area. And he hired a guy by the name of Harry Karstens. And Harry Karstens, he was a young mail carrier at the time, because mailmen way back in the day had a much more hardcore job where they were dog mushing through the elements and to get the mail to everyone. So he hired Harry Karstens to take him around this area to study the Dall sheep. Now what Charles Sheldon saw was communities of people starting to come up here. There were people working on the railroad, there were people with mining claims, and they were all coming up here to experience this true wilderness. But they can't just go to the store when they're hungry, right? Exactly. So they had to go hunting. Perfectly reasonable thing to do. But Dall sheep during the summertime, they're a pretty easy target because they're bright white. So Dall sheep were a pretty frequent target. And what Charles Sheldon saw was that these Dall sheep were getting hunted a little excessively. As a matter of fact, we have a picture of one cabin where the Dall sheep skulls are piled in front of it. So high that goes over the roof. So he wanted to protect his idea of wilderness. So he ended up going back east and lobbying Congress to have this area turned into a national park. And that's what they did in 1917. They turned our original 2 million acres of park, they turned it into a national park to protect those Dall sheep. Well, of course, sometimes the East has problems communicating with the West, and things get lost in translation. So although the park was created in 1917, it was just a whole bunch of lines on paper, because we had no park employees and no budget until 1921, when we were able to hire our first park employee, and that was none other than that young dog musher, Harry Karstens. Well, if you're one man and you have 2 million acres to protect, that's a lot of work to do, especially when your budget is $10. So the first thing Harry Karstens did was he bought about 7 dogs. So 1 man, 7 dogs patrolling this park to protect it. Still a really difficult task. So eventually he had to hire more people. And has anyone here ever just wanted to be a park ranger? Oh. Well, if you had wanted to be a park ranger, this is how the interview would have gone. Harry would have come up to you and been like, hey, I hear you want to be a park ranger. Here's the deal. I'm going to give you 7 of those dogs over there, and you have to go patrol the park for 2 weeks. And if I don't have to come find you, then you have a job. Let me tell you, the interview process is nothing like that nowadays. So back in the past, these dogs were protecting this park and that idea of wilderness. Now I see what you're thinking. You're probably saying to yourself, well, Self, I understand why you would choose to use dogs in the early 1900s. That makes perfect sense. But get with the pictures. 2013, why on earth do you still have sled dogs here in the park today? Well, that's a great question. So, those dogs laying on their houses, lounging in the sun. Those are the happiest, the most lovable, the friendliest federal employees you'll ever meet. Because they are, in fact, federal employees. Their job in the summertime is to make visitor contacts, meet all of you guys. Did you guys feel connected to those dogs? Did they greet you with wagging tails? Yeah, maybe some of them. Most of them were sleeping, probably. So they were doing a great job making contact with you. Now in the winter, they have a very different job. Because remember that word wilderness? Well, although we had problems defining it, they're barking at something over there. Probably a squirrel or a bird. But back in 1964, they actually the federal government defined that word wilderness, that word that we were having problems with. And they said it's an area of 5,000 acres or more that is untrammeled by man. Well, that includes our original 2 million acre national park. So, that means we are not allowed to have mechanized vehicles in that area. Now, I know what you're thinking. We have buses that go straight through that wilderness area. Aren't they mechanized vehicles? No. Actually, they are. And so, we have a situation where our road corridor is not considered a wilderness area during the summer, and we're allowed to have 10,512 vehicles go through that area. And we save all those spots for you guys. Now, in the wintertime, that is wilderness, and we're not allowed to have snow machines in there. We're not allowed to have any other vehicles in this area. So we patrol by dog sled, just like they did in the early 1900s. But the dogs don't necessarily have to, patrol for poachers anymore. What they're mostly doing now is patrolling for snow machiners coming in. They're patrolling to make visitor contacts because our park is open in January, and you guys are all welcome to visit. So if you wanted to come with your own dog team, these guys would be breaking trails. But they do so much more, too. Not only are they breaking trails, but they're hauling equipment for scientists, for our artists and residents. They're helping with
So excited. Okay, you record now. Record watching come up this way. It's already on record.
They lost the run. Whoops, yeah. This is Josh.
Okay, look out, guys. Okay, taking up out of Denali. There's our hotel. Driving our train. Okay, on the train on the upper deck. This is pretty cool. Let's open viewing.
Didn't see a lot of bears there. It was the year they were trying to keep culverts.
Denali.
Denali.
Park.
Denali National Park. It's down further here. Look at all the places. So we're in here someplace, Greg, you say?
Yeah, although something's on the left-hand side, but
Up there in the hill?
I don't know, everything's on the
Everything's right pretty much here, other than the park the park entrance where we were at. That's the main part of town right now. in railroads here.
I take a video. No video. I take a look at pictures. No, no, no. I want to take a picture. You want to take one? No. Do you want to take one? Look. Just the grass. Or the trees? No, no. I'll hit the bus.
We don't go in one by the side.